Welcome to the Fuel Podcast, where we explore the foundations under extraordinary lives.
The Fuel Podcast is sponsored by the Christopher Schwartz team at First Choice Mortgage Advisors. NMLS ID 106583. If you're looking to purchase or refinance your mortgage, make the Christopher Schwartz team at First Choice Mortgage your first choice.
And now, here is your host, Chris Schwartz.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's Chris Schwartz, your host of Fuel, and I am here today with our guest, Barry Habib. Barry, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you, Chris.
You as well. And Barry is the CEO of MBS Highway. He is what many of us in the mortgage and real estate industry can consider to be, I don't know, the chief economist in the loan officer industry. I heard Anthony Casa W that the other day, and I mean, you're really, for the last 20 years, have been just the voice of, the markets and keeping loan officers, real estate agents up to speed on the market. Your predictions have been spot on. I am an avid consumer of the MBS Highway information, and I just want to thank you so much for being here today during these unprecedented times in our industry.
Well, I really appreciate that, man. Thanks for the kind words. We're all trying to help out in any way we can right now.
Yeah. It's and your help is beyond what many of us are able to do given the platform that you have. So just from one just small independent mortgage broker to you, I really can't thank you enough, especially as we see some of these changes that the Fed has put into place that has, they came out with good intentions for the American consumer, right, to protect the consumer. And, on the backside, as an industry, we are really, really feeling the impact of those moves. And your organization and the people that you've been able to connect with was able to take that up to the highest level and really let the Fed know that, hey, great idea, here's some unintended consequences. So
thank you, Chris. I mean, that's a collective effort from everybody. So we're all trying to do our part, and I'm really, really happy to see that, as Steve Liesman said today when he talked about, the discussion, and he was great last night. We spent 3 hours together. We did a Zoom call. We broke this down. I did this with Rick Hansen and Dan Habib from my office, and we went through this and showed Steve step by step. In fact, I did put out a video that's you can take it and you can put a link to this here as to what the chronological order of what happened and why the Fed went awry, and it's understandable why, but that explanation really kind of lit it up for Steve, and that's why he went on TV today. And then people like John Malden and Peter Bookbar, and the fact that the Fed has heard this now and backed off their purchases. They were supposed to buy $9 billion, they shut back down to $4 billion, and mortgage-backed securities. Never thought I'd be happy to say this, but they were up over 50 or 60 basis points. Lenders were calling me left and right saying, "Oh my God, I can't take another margin call," because they are teetering right now. And to see it come back down to flat after the Fed's lack of interest in really kind of taking this market crazy was just so wonderful. And my phone's been blowing up with thank you and thank God. And, look, so I don't know if this continues, but we got one day. We got one day out of it so far. Let's just hope it continues.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, again, being an avid subscriber, I don't think in the history of my industry, I've been happy to get a negative reprice. So I was pumped, man. It's
you have the right mindset. You're thinking long term. You're not thinking about your career in a matter of days or weeks. You're thinking it in many years, and that's the right way to view it. Is that it's a short term blip, and after this, we get through this, we cross this bridge, which we will. You're going to have the lowest rates you've ever seen. You're going to have equity in homes. You're going to have a really strong real estate. This will be the most envied line of work that there is.
Absolutely. And I'm going to be very proud and, stand tall with my team and my fellow industry colleagues to say, hey, we came out of this. And, prior to this, I joked and, gotten into the business in 2005, and, I could pound my chest and say, yeah, I went through the crash, and I thought that was it, Barry. I thought that was going to be my, my one, hey, I survived it. But now, we're going to look back and we're going to have another story to tell.
And there will be more in the future too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, but we will get through this. And I think we're all so blessed to have the power of technology and community to be able to do things like this, to be able to get information out so quickly, to let people, as high up as the Federal Reserve know, hey, these are the changes, these are the implications of the changes that you just made, and how it's really, to use your words, right? It wasn't like a bump for the mortgage industry. They had their foot on the throat of many of us with these moves, and not intentionally. But look, you've been talking about this stuff. There's a ton of webinars, Facebook Live content on what's going on there. But what Fuel is about, man, it is about what fuels you. The acronym we use here at Fuel is Foundations Under Extraordinary Lives. And, I just want to kind of shift gears from the margin calls and Fed and all of these things, and just talk about, especially during these times, as we see so many people struggling, the intent of Fuel is that you'll be able to pop on one of these podcasts and listen and tap into something to elevate your game, to take it to the next level. And I think now more than ever, we need to tap into that fuel that we have and that foundation. And for everybody, it's different. For some people, it's family, it's events that have happened in their lives, it's whatever it may be. So Barry, let's shift gears a little bit and just put all this industry talk on the shelf, man. And what's your fuel, Barry? What gets you through this?
So I think that everybody watching this probably has experienced some levels of success. And what I've discovered in life is that success without fulfillment doesn't feel as good as you thought it would. It's kind of ephemeral. And I think the main thing is that you have to have fulfillment in life. And for me, God put me here to help other people. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I had a very, very difficult time as a young kid. My parents were much older. They were immigrants. We were completely broke, so we were in poverty. My dad passed away when I was younger, and all that's in my book, which is called Money in the Streets. It'll be released October 27th. I think that you'd really like it. It applies to everyone as far as seeing opportunities. Nice. And so I learned at a very young age what it's like to be on the other side, what it's like to be really poor, what it's like to be disparaged, what it's like to have tremendous amount of obstacles. And as I went through life, one of the things that I got to be blessed and fortunate is to have a little bit of successes and have a little bit of fortune. And so I think it's important that whatever your level of success is, that you try to help others. When we were dirt poor, we'd ride the subways in New York City, and I was a little kid, and my mom would, see people who were less fortunate than us, because there always are people less fortunate than you. As so many of us right now, whether we're in this industry or not, it's a scary time.
Yeah.
And it's understandable if you're in the mortgage business to look at it a little bit myopically and say, oh man, how am I going to get that loan closed, and get all pissed off and get upset about it? And, I did all this work and rates changed, or, I was a day away from closing and the employment verification came back and that person lost their job, and you get a little, upset over that. And that's okay.
Sure.
As long as you remember that there's probably much more than 7 billion people that would pray to have your problems. While you're worried about that deal not closing, that person on the other end is worried about not having a job. So, it's just that kind of perspective that's really important. So get back to my mom. when she would see people that were less fortunate, even though we had nothing, she had this gold change purse. I knew what she was going to do because I learned she would take out the gold change purse, and she just, even if it's just a few coins, this was back when a few coins, you could buy something with a few coins, we'll give it to somebody else. And, I witnessed that as a kid, that just because we were poor, we didn't have to feel that way, So, and she would tell me that it's good to help other people, and the way that it makes you feel is more than any dollar amount could make you feel. It just can't.
Yeah.
So that feeling of fulfillment. So for me, that's my fuel. Trying to do things that you could see others, take and benefit themselves and other people by. That's very rewarding for me. So, when we look at the opportunities that we have, one of my rituals every day is I need a little coffee to get going in the morning. That's my first fuel. And then after
we have our official fuel mug here. Thanks to my mother-in-law.
Yeah, there you go. So I literally start every day with, it sounds funny, but I say out loud all the things I'm grateful for. And there's a lot of them, and all the people and the things that I'm grateful for. And it just gets your mind in a good place to start the day, and when you invariably you're going to encounter things that are going to aggravate you or piss you off. You're going to.
It's like,
you handle it a little bit differently, and you're able to just kind of keep things a little bit better in perspective. Now, listen, we're all going to make mistakes and this and that, and sometimes I'll handle it better than others. But invariably, I'll come back and understand that, man, I'm in a really lucky position, and I'm really blessed, regardless of what we all have fears and problems and issues. We all do. We will all suffer. But regardless of that, overall, I am so grateful to be in the position that I'm in, and I think we all are. So when you start off with that kind of a mindset for your day, there's a lot more that you can do, and a lot that you could see in others. To recognize that, just because maybe they act a certain way to you doesn't necessarily mean it's about you. It could be about what they're dealing with. And if you have a little bit more understanding and empathy, maybe that there's something you could do to actually help that person, even if they're not treating you that great.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And especially as we look at, so many things right now, it's, your analogy was perfect, and those of us in the industry can relate. I've heard some people say, man, I was this close to closing this deal, and my borrower got laid off. And it's like, it's more about them than the person that just got laid off and lost their job. And look, we're, like you said, we're all going to suffer right now in this industry and many others. But to be able to look beyond that and to look for opportunities to help other people, and to maybe, the empathy, right? That was the key word right there. And that's so powerful in these times, just being able to take a step back, and it's not easy. I mean, we had the best year I've ever had in 15 plus years in the business last year. We obviously came out of the gates, given where the industry was, on pace to crush that this year. And, there's a point where I'm like, oh, why me? We were right there. Like, look what happened, and now, I've been able, we're allowed to have those moments, right? There's why me meltdowns, but to be able to have the ability to snap out of it and look at what we have. And I love your morning ritual, and just saying, what you're grateful for, and recognizing it, because we will get through this. I mean, we will get through this, and, to be able to look to the other side and say, okay, this is a rough time, but look at all the things that we're blessed with. And, to be able to, for anybody listening, tuning in later when we share this, listen to what Barry said there. That is so key. If you can focus on the things that you have and that you're, blessed with during these times, that is some powerful fuel right there.
Something taught to me by my dear friend, Tony Robbins, who's just an incredible human being. Tony said, you get upset he gets upset. He knows I get upset. He said, but what you have to do is you have to have a 90-second rule, which means get upset. It's okay, but rein it in 90 seconds. Come on back. Come on back quickly, because whoever it is that got you upset, they're not worth you ruining your day. But even more importantly, they're not worth you ruining your aura, so that everyone else you come into contact with, you deprive that person of the good that you could bring to them, of the positivity that you can bring to them. And it's so true, because when somebody screws up your mood and you're upset and you're pissed off, don't think that doesn't necessarily show itself, and don't think that others don't pick up on it, because they do. And what we want to be able to do is be an example for others, lift other people up. And it's very hard to do that if we ourselves are in this bad state of mind. So yeah, okay, get pissed off for your 90 seconds, enjoy it, whatever. But then come on back and have what he calls a beautiful mindset, so that you can be happier yourself, but you can bring joy to others. And like I said, that's what it's all about. That's what gives you the fulfillment. We all know that feeling when you've reached out and you've helped somebody and you've touched somebody and you've done good by them. We all know what that does for us, right? So that's what we have to focus on.
Yeah, and that's perfect for these times. It really is. Lift each other up.
And then during these times, you know what? Why don't you take a look at what other people are doing on the front lines? And how about this amazing these hospitals that are being built by the Army Corps of Engineers, and the work that people are doing in every industry that is helping others, whether it be those people on the front lines in the airline industry, or the person at that grocery store that's open that you're able to get food from, or the takeout place to make your life a little bit easier, make you feel a little bit like normal. The other day I was at CVS. This was yesterday. I was at CVS, and I was especially appreciative to the people who were working there, and told them so. And you could see how much it meant to them. But the person behind the counter had the N95 mask on, right? And I took a minute to say thank you, because that guy could stay home. Okay, he's not getting paid $300,000 a year. I promise you that. Okay, so this is not a job that this person is doing to create wealth or for greed. A part of him has to be really fearful of putting himself on the front line. And I thanked him and spoke to him for a minute, and I said, "Man, that mask, it's probably a little hard to breathe during that thing all day." He said, "Man, you have no idea." And he takes his mask off. And now the N95 mask, they have like a metal thing that you put like around so it kind of stays on. His nose was raw and red. He had to be literally in pain, but he was doing this. And there are so many people that are doing things to help others. It just really gives you so much encouragement, and it just makes you feel like, wow, there's bad out there, but there's so much good out there too. And I think if we take a minute to see it, and maybe just take a minute to tell people that we notice it, I bet you it means an awful lot. I could tell you that guy felt like so great that somebody cared about him, and showed gratitude towards him. So we could do this stuff every day. This doesn't cost you anything. Cost you nothing to be nice, nothing to be considerate. It doesn't cost anything, but it rewards you with so much good feeling. That you're able to make somebody else know that they're appreciated. In right now, where I think people just don't feel appreciated. I'm not trying to piggyback off of what President Trump said in his news conference over the weekend, where he said, "I want to be appreciated." But I get it. Everybody's bitching at the man. He didn't ask for this. He didn't create this virus. We know that. How about a little grace? Just whether you like the man, whether you don't like the man. That's not this. Politics is a time for politics.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not a time for that bullshit. Right now is a time to be understanding and know that every single person is under a lot of stress in different areas. Is it that they're worried about a family member who's at high risk? Are they worried about their own health? Are they trying to manage working with their kids at home? And this is, life has gotten a lot harder.
Yeah.
So, this is not a time to try and be critical of someone who's just trying to do the very best job they can.
Yeah. And that's something we can take, beyond when we come out of this, hopefully we can.
Well, that'd be the nice thing. Chris, I see people even, that don't know each other, that when they, instead of, hey, have a good day, it's, hey man, you be safe,
Yeah.
I really think that shows that, I think everybody really has a great side to them. I think that we're born wanting to be kind and wanting to be good. I think that's the way we're born. But there are things that make us put up these walls, and they're wise to have these walls, but I don't think it has to be a complete wall. I think we could be wise but be kind at the same time.
Sure. Yeah. I love it, Barry. And, this is so refreshing, man. And I know both of us being in the industry, and a lot of the people that are going to be watching and listening to this, so almost a little breath of fresh air, a breath like of humanity to just sit here and chat with you about, some stuff that people can relate to, that are dealing with things that are just so beyond what we're focused on. And to come back to the industry, I mean, look, it's going to be a rough road, and there's going to be challenges ahead, but there's going to be so many opportunities, if we can all stick together and get through this. And like you said, that we joked in the beginning at a negative reprice alert, man, that's a real thing. Like, we need that. And people in our industry,
we want to make sure that that we understand that this is a bridge to cross. It is not crossing it into a land that's going to be terrible. It's crossing it into a land that's amazing. It will be a land that we're going to be recovering, that people will be looking at an amazing real estate market, that will have opportunities that they didn't have before in the stock market, that will be looking at ways to help their consumers purchase a home, and home prices will be appreciating. Interest rates will be low for a long time, so you can help refinance people, but don't just refinance them. Do a cash out refinance and pay off all their debts, and then accelerate the payments, reduce their term. Don't put them back in a 30-year. Pay off all their debts and put them in a 15-year or 20-year. Do something that will change the trajectory of that person's financial life. That's what you have to do right now, because you have a chance to do that every single day. And I know that sometimes it's not easy, because what we're looking at are obstacles currently in the mortgage industry. So I get that. I'm not insensitive to that. But as things start to resume more of a normal course, we are going to be having the chance to help so many people, not just by saving them a couple $100 a month. That's not what this is about. You can literally, if you do it right, you could change somebody's retirement, their kids' college, their security, help them save 12 years worth of payments so that their life becomes better and with less stress. This is what you need to do for people today. That's the gift that you have by being in the mortgage industry. And it's really a gift. You don't look at it as a job. You are so fortunate and blessed that you have this chance to do so much good in the world that other people just can't have the impact that you have or can have. The choice is yours, whether you look at it and view it that way. Because if you do, and if you learn how to do this, if you go about doing things the right way, if you truly become an advisor and become a master of your craft, then the impact that you have on the world is incredible. And that all goes back to the feeling of fulfillment. And because, you're going to get paid on that. You're going to make a lot of money, but you'll never think about the money. You'll just think about the good that you're doing. And I promise you, more money than you imagined will come your way without you having to even think about it.
Yeah. And that's, in this industry, it is, and myself, to talk about my fuel is helping people. And it really is, it's connecting with people, it's building relationships and changing, having an impact on their life. I stumbled in 2005 and into the mortgage industry, and that became my vehicle to connect and help people. And that's, that's kind of where I am in this journey. But also that's how Fuel was born, is I realized that, hey, I like to connect with people, I like to hear their story. And I wanted people's stories can have such a profound impact on others. Like the power of story is just, it's incredible. So to take Fuel and to be able to listen to.
Well, that's why I wrote my book. When I wrote Money in the Streets, I wrote it because there's very, 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 very many stories in there. But the stories, they're not about me. They're through me. They're about everybody that reads it. It's something that, if you're going through a tough time, it'll help you get through it. And if you're going through a good time, it'll help you maximize it. But most of all, it's really understanding how to see opportunities to do good, see opportunities to create wealth, see opportunities for improvement that everybody else is missing. It's just, how do I see that? And the title Money in the Streets comes from when I was a young kid, and everyone who's listening to this can certainly empathize with this. If you know of immigrants, or if you've had people in your family who have immigrated to the United States, the way that the United States is talked about from people from foreign lands is, boy, it's such a rich country. It's so rich that there's money in the streets. All you have to do is pick it up. And when I was a little boy, my mom would tell me this story, and she would almost laugh, but it would almost be sad that, they believed that America had money in the streets. And as I kind of started to get some opportunities myself and grow in business and be able to see and identify opportunities that could help others, that could grow business, that can just do good, that I remember before my mom passed, I sat down with her and I said to her, I said, Mom, you were right. So there really is money in the streets. All you have to do is be able to see it and then pick it up and do good with it. And that was a very rewarding conversation that will always stay with me because yeah, this is an incredible opportunity that we have. There really is money in the streets. There's opportunity everywhere. Sometimes we're just so busy we don't stop and think about it. There's opportunity right now. If you think about the real estate market's an amazing opportunity right now. Your chance to be a leader and to be a light for others, just like you're doing, Chris, to either have a podcast or go on social media and help educate others and help show people what's going on. That's an incredible opportunity. There's an opportunity right now potentially in the stock market where, I'm not saying to trade the stock market day to day. That's not my advice. But while maybe prices come down a little bit more, eventually, stock market will find sound footing and start moving up from these discounted levels. And this will be looked about a time where there was tremendous opportunity in bargains, so long as your time horizon is a long time horizon. Not certainly in weeks, but measured in years. Yeah. And I think that you will reflect back and say, wow, what a great opportunity. So opportunity is everywhere. It is everywhere. And what we need to do is give ourselves the time to think and look. And when you're driving a car at night, you see as far as the headlights shine, but that's a very short distance. There's a lot more world out there than the headlights will reflect and allow you to see. You have to have the faith and the trust to believe what's beyond the headlights so that you can plan for that and you can anticipate that. And that's part of being able to recognize that there are opportunities out there. So, we get blinded by fear and we get overwhelmed and we get caught up in the tasks in the day-to-day. What you want to do is almost set an appointment with yourself, just as if it was a client appointment, and spend 20 minutes a day thinking. Now, some people say meditate or this and that. I try meditation. I get a couple of minutes in there. But what I am good at is setting some time to think. And maybe that's my meditation, because I just think, how can I overcome a problem? How can I help someone? How can I improve on what I'm doing? Or if there's something that I don't understand, how can I kind of think it through? And I find that those times are the most valuable for me, because it really allows me some quiet time where I could just literally think. And that's so underrated, because we don't often think about taking time to just think things through. We say it.
Right.
We don't set it up like it's an appointment. And I think that's a critical thing to do.
Yeah, and especially again, it's hard to not talk about where we are, right? We all have a little bit more time in one way or another to think. We're not, doing as much, and I think part of what we've, what I've personally seen come out of this is I have had a lot more time to reflect and to connect with family and to do things that we're just go in this industry. You don't have a lot of time to do it. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
Embrace the downtime and do positive things with it. Don't have to just watch Tiger King. Just
come on, you're telling me Tiger King. Oh my goodness. All right, Barry. Well, man, thank you so much. We're gonna hit you with two things. One, I'd be remiss if I didn't get your take. Especially getting that Crystal Ball Award. Where do you see in a quick?
I do have two of them, by the way. I have two Crystal Balls.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I did win it twice.
Nice. I mean, your predictions have been spot on. Where do you see the real estate market and the health of the market post this COVID-19?
It's amazing. Many more buyers than there are product. You have more demand than supply. You have amazing demographics, affordability rising. Every metrics for home prices was already good, but now they'll get even better because there'll be an invariable hit. Q2 will suck. Q3 will be a great recovery. And as we enter into 2021, home values will be appreciating at significant levels. This is a great opportunity for housing. And as far as your mortgage business, you're going to have to get used to really low rates and being really busy.
I know. We're telling our team
you better gear up, is what I'm saying, because this is going to be a very long and extended great ride. Which is why don't be silly and think short. I mean, really, stop acting like a borrower. Stop acting like a child, really, and act as if you are looking at this way instead of this way. Is it what? Yeah, okay. This is going to be shitty. Okay, no question, it's going to be shitty. But it's going to be really great for a long time afterwards. If you gave this opportunity to me and say, hey, if you dealt with a little bit of a crap time, but you'd have a really great long time, I'm signing up for that right now. Right. So don't look at this as a bad thing. Look at this as this is just a little bit of a test to get through, to get some really great times for a long time.
Love it. All right. Well, hopefully that'll be the third crystal ball prediction. And Barry, we wrap up the show here. We do a little thing called rapid fire, and it's just a fun exercise. And
go ahead.
All right, so this is how it goes. You're stuck on an island.
Yeah.
Not quarantined in your home or office, stuck on an island.
Okay.
And we all know that we'll throw the disclaimer out there that you would take your friends, family, and loved ones. But outside of those immediate family and loved ones, who are you taking with you? One person.
Oh boy, be very hard to pick one person. I'm going to take a pass on that one. I'm not going to make any incriminating remarks here. So
love it. Okay. All right. And the second question, obviously, we have your book out there, which we want to encourage everybody to pick up. If you're stuck on the island, outside of Money in the Streets.
And I'm on this island.
What's that?
Again, I'm on this island, right? Go ahead.
Yep.
I don't want to be on the island. Go ahead.
All right. What book you taking with you?
There's, I don't know. I'm going to take a Kindle with me and have my options are wide open. That's what I'm going to do. I don't like limitations. So I'm not going to answer questions that are limiting. I want to tell you that I believe in abundance. So I'm not going to answer any limiting questions. I want to bring I'm going to find a way
to get everyone on the island.
And I'm going to find a way to have as many resources as possible. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry about who I'm going to take. I'm going to worry about how I'm going to get everyone there.
Love it. All right. Awesome. And this one's just a fun one. Favorite food? What would you love to have there with you?
Well, obviously, does it look like I missed many meals? I mean, really. So how can I choose this one? This is another one where, unfortunately, for my part, it's abundance. So I love steaks, seafood, Italian. I'm pretty easy to please that way. So
we're going smorgasbord.
I love variety and I love good quality. And most of all, I love sharing it with people. So for me, it's not so much about the food as is the people I get to share it with.
Awesome. Well, Barry, thank you so much for taking the time today. For those of listening out there, how can they connect with you? What's the best way to find you?
So listen, if you're not on MBS Highway, you really should be. I mean, you're and I'm just saying this. I mean, you're kind of silly if you're not at this point in time. Just ask anybody else who is.
Yeah.
You would have been in better shape through this, and you will be in better shape in the future. So yeah, MBS Highway, and then Barry at MBS Highway. If you want to send me an email, that's cool too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I am, again, I would be lost, and I'm gonna share a little. You know, I strayed away. I'm gonna be honest and candid. I strayed away at a point from MBS Highway. You know, I was lured into thinking there was this other thing out there that would help me. And man, not only did I miss you, it lasted about a week, Barry, and my team said, "This service sucks. They're wrong. And I need my morning update. I need my song. I need my tunes. I need Barry." So my team and I were just, couldn't survive, man. We made it a week, and we jumped back in. So MBS Highway,
Thanks for coming back, man. Thanks for coming back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you literally, I don't know how you could be in the mortgage business without it. I mean, true statement.
Thanks.
So, all right. Well, thanks so much. For everybody listening, we ask you to share this out there with somebody that it may help. If you got anything out of the podcast, if you enjoyed it, please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. And on that note, stay safe, be well. We're out.
Thank you.